My name is Stephen Redfern, and I serve as the police chief for the city of Boulder, Colorado. I'm speaking to you today on behalf of the Boulder Police Department to give an update on the investigation into the murder of JONBENÉT Ramsey. As many of you know, this horrible crime happened in December of 1996, and our officers responded to investigate. While I was not at Boulder Police 28 years ago, I have worked in policing for more than 20 years, and I want to assure you that our agency is committed to doing everything we can to bring justice to JONBENÉT and hold her killer responsible. So much of how law enforcement works has changed in the last 30 years. There are a number of things that people have pointed to throughout the years that could have been done better, and we acknowledge that is true. However, it is important to emphasize that while we cannot go back to that horrible day in 1996, our goal is to find JONBENÉT Ramsey's killer. Our commitment to that has never wavered.
If that was possible, we would all be stopping them before
our detectives have partnered with multiple agencies across the country, including our federal and state partners, like the FBI and the Colorado Bureau of Investigation, as well as several outside forensic labs and DNA experts, to evaluate the latest advancements in technology, viable tips, and investigative leads. Our collaboration also includes the Colorado Cold Case Review Team, which is a panel of outside experts brought together in December of 2023 to review this case.
A year ago.
Generate additional investigative recommendations and determine if updated technologies and or forensic testing might produce new intelligence or leads to solve this case.
Like CEECEE more?
That review took a year to prepare for
possibly?
and included an intensive effort to digitize all evidence to create a comprehensive and searchable database containing thousands of information files.
Good.
Those files include more than 21,000 tips, over 1,000 interviews, which were conducted across 17 states and 2 foreign countries, samples from more than 200 different individuals, including handwriting, DNA, fingerprints, and shoe prints, nearly 2,500 pieces of evidence, and roughly 40,000 reports, with more than 1 million pages documenting the investigation. A fresh inventory of all collected evidence was made available for investigative review, which would not have been possible without the assistance of the FBI. The Cold Case Review Panel gave us a lengthy list of recommendations, which we are continuing to work through and evaluate. And though that review may have ended, our collaboration with those entities continues to this day.
Good.
I know that our community would like to know more information and specifics on our progress, but like any major criminal investigation, there is no way that we can share that information publicly
without
compromising the integrity of this case and any future prosecution by the district attorney's office. What I can tell you, though, is that we have thoroughly investigated multiple people identified as suspects throughout the years, and we continue to be open-minded about what occurred as we investigate the tips that come in to detectives. I can also tell you that detectives are regularly investigating some aspects of this terrible crime, and I receive updates frequently. We are hopeful that the renewed public attention will generate more tips, and we encourage anyone who has any information to contact our detectives at the following email: bouldersmostwanted@bouldercolorado.gov. In the interest of transparency, I also think it's important for the community to know that our department has had ongoing conversations with JONBENÉT's family, the last of which occurred in mid-2024, and we are committed to continued open dialogue. JONBENÉT would have been 34 years old this year.
Yeah, she
would. She deserved to grow up and live her life to the fullest.
Yeah, she did.
Instead, it was brutally taken from her.
It was.
Of course, those who loved and knew JONBENÉT continued to grieve. This crime also haunts the Boulder community, especially every officer and detective who's ever been a part of this investigation. Every single one of them thinks about her and would love nothing more than to bring justice to her memory. I know the Boulder Police Department has not talked a lot about this investigation publicly, but that's, again, because no one wants to jeopardize any potential prosecution of a suspect. We must constantly balance the release of any information in an active and open investigation with the public's right and desire to know what's going on. To the extent that news coverage, documentaries, and miniseries keep JONBENÉT's memory alive and could perhaps spark new information, we welcome any coverage that might allow us to finally bring the killer or killers to justice.
if they're alive.
At the end of the day, we must not
It's
forget
been 28
that
years.
regardless of everything that has or has not transpired since 1996, a 6-year-old girl is dead, and we will continue to do everything in our power, along with our partners, to solve this case. Ideally, we would be able to go back and prevent this awful crime from happening, but sadly we cannot. However, moving forward, we're committed to investigating every tip and lead that comes our way. I beg anyone that has information that has not been previously shared with us to contact us, and that includes those responsible for this crime. Please help us in our efforts to secure justice for JONBENÉT.
Hi everybody, I'm Barbara Ann and welcome to my channel Straight Out of Context. I want to share this with you because People Magazine just ran this yesterday in the afternoon, and this is an update on JonBeNÉT Ramsey investigation. Police admit certain things could have been done better. The killing of JonBeNÉT was an unspeakable crime, and this tragedy has never left our hearts, Boulder Police Chief Steve Redfern has said. He offered an update this week on the cold case unaliving of 6-year-old JonBeNÉT Ramsey as the 28th anniversary of her unaliving approaches. The Boulder Police Department provided an annual update on the ongoing investigation. The unaliving of JonBeNÉT was an unspeakable crime, and this tragedy has never left our hearts. He posted on X, formerly Twitter. And this is all what you just saw right there. And I just want to reiterate that while this documentary that just was released on Netflix is not the first one that they've done in the last 3 years about JonBeNÉT, in fact, there has been several released in the last 5 years on JonBeNÉT on multiple different video streaming services. And I do give them kudos now for having released that, because at least that's a step in the right direction to try and appease the public and try to at least give some comfort and solace to her family and siblings, where her dad has become to very age and may not live to see this person be caught. Her siblings still will be alive. So will Lou Smith's daughters. So will other people that have followed this crime since they were young, like me, because I'm the same generation and age of JonBeNÉT. I literally grew up with this case. That's why I tell everybody when I talk about it, this case is very personal to me. Because the entirety of my childhood and teen years, I could not go to a single liquor store, party store, grocery store, bodega, anything without having seen that little girl's face plastered everywhere. And the reason why they're making that announcement is because of people like me who have worked tirelessly to tag them in the fact that her father offered to pay for a third-party independent unbiased lab, and CEECEE offered her services to come in and try and find an ancestry DNA match, the same way she caught the Golden State unaliver and other unsolved case perpetrators. I have also tagged them in my shorts and videos that I have done, hence why they came out with this public statement. And I'm glad they did. This is not the first, nor is it the last documentary that has been made about this case. However, I am really happy that this one has renewed a large public interest in it. That's always a good thing. But I have been tagging them since 2019. The Boulder Police Department, in the fact that they should give that DNA profile over to a third-party lab or her father or CEECEE or bring them on, because she has offered her services to try and help them find an ancestry match to the perpetrator. If that is possible, that is assuming that the DNA profile that they have is her actual unaliver. But you wouldn't know if you don't actually run it up against any kind of possible matches ancestral wise. And they did release this because I myself have been putting pressure on them for 5 years. 5 years.